Hello, everybody. This is George checking in for my weekly report on how things are going. It's been a fairly quiet week this week on account of the fact that I've given myself a bit of an easy week because I've been pretty tired. Basically, since August the 20th last year when I went to Wyoming, I've been pretty much flat out, working very hard to establish good communications between the UK and the USA, the carnival communities. And I think I've achieved quite a lot in that. I've made a lot of new friends, made a lot of good contacts, and managed to establish a good link, a good diplomatic link between the UK and the US of A. So I'm very happy with it. So I need to give myself a bit of an easier time of it for the next couple of weeks. So this week didn't actually go and give my weekly report to Kerry on account of the fact that I had an early night on Thursday instead of staying up ridiculously late. But I didn't have much to report anyway, to be honest with you. And I was able to get the feedback the next morning from my friend Barbara over in Ohio, who was on the meeting. So she gave me the full update. So yeah, it's time for me to update you on what I'm actually doing at the moment. As you know, I was planning on starting coaching in this month, but I decided I wasn't really ready and that I needed to go back to construction to earn a bit of money and give myself a bit of breathing space, which is what I've done. However, things are looking pretty positive for the future. And I've had a chance to organise my thoughts, really, and develop a couple of strategies. Now, many of you will know that I am a Kilts Health coach now. So I do have my Kilts Health certificate, which is good. And I'm also a moderator on the Kilts Health channel. A word about Kilts Health: it's a three-tier basically organisation. It has been set up by Dr. Kilts for three reasons. The first one is a social thing, because Kilts Health has the Kilts Mighty Tribe under it. The Kilts Mighty Tribe is a free service. It's on an app, the Mighty app, where people can go to join the community. Dr. Kilt set up the tribe because he felt himself a bit of almost lonely, and he wanted friends, and he decided to set up the Mighty Tribe so that he would gather some of his friends around him, which he has very successfully done. As a moderator on the channel, I receive notifications every day of who joins, and I'm happy to say that I'm receiving 3 or 4 notifications every day that people have actually joined, so that's wonderful. The second part of the Kilts Health is that it is a training program. I have sat the Kilts Health course and got the certificate. I got the certificate back in October, but we all got invited back to sit the second course again, which I felt would be very, very valuable to me because it just reinforces what I've already learned. It was a slightly improved course, so that was a big advantage as well. That is coming to an end now, which will tie in quite nicely with my plan to start coaching in the future. I've learned a lot on the second course on account of the fact that the first time you see something, it doesn't necessarily sink in, but the second time you see it, it really it's a revision type thing, and it really does sink in. The third aspect of Kilts Health is it does sell merchandise. It's Dr. Kilts himself has a hobby, which is pottery. He makes Kilts cups, which you can buy online. And also there is some Kilts merch, such as t-shirts and hats. And also he does a supplement range as well, organ meat supplement. So that's the whole idea behind the Kilts Health. Dr. Kilts is not aiming to make a profit out of it. It is a not-for-profit organisation. His day job is that of OBGYN, a gynecologist in CNY fertility. So that's his bread and butter as such. So that's the story behind Kilts Health. I'm also the UK ambassador to Healing Humanity. I started as a joke. I said I was a self-appointed UK ambassador, but then Kerry ratified that. So I do now hold the status of the UK ambassador to Healing Humanity. And that's a role which I take very, very seriously. Once a week, I give the report to Kerry, unless, of course, I'm too exhausted as I was this week. But I didn't have much to report. As many of you may know, we do have 3 UK stories featured in Healing Humanity. Lauren Tucker, Lee Copus, and the late great Alex Cannon. I'm a very good friend of Lauren. Lauren was my second friend within the carnivore community, so we go back quite a long way. In fact, to October 2023, which in terms of the carnivore community is quite a long time because we are fairly new. I'm also friends with Lee Copus, and I was great friends with Alex before, unfortunately, his unexpected congenital heart disease took him from us far too early. At the age of only 66, so it was that was that was a shock which went through the entire community last year. So, what are my plans for the future? Well, basically, I'm working currently in construction 60 hours a week, which is one of the reasons why I'm so tired. I have to get up at 5 o'clock every morning, leave the house at 10 past 6. I get home at about 10 to 7 every night, so it doesn't leave me much time, but I do what I can, and I devote my weekends mostly to what I do for the carnivore community. Although, of course, I have a lovely wife, Lainey, and we try to do something together at least at the weekends. I think once the second course of the Kilts Health certification finishes, then I will have a bit more time at the weekends to devote to things other than carnivore. But we shall see. We shall see in the future. So that's great. Right, a word about coaching. I do intend to set up a limited company in the not too distant future. The projects I'm on at the moment will finish. The construction projects I'm on at the moment will finish earliest in April of this year. Latest for me will have to be June the 4th because I do need to take the pretty much the rest of June off because I have two major events coming up. The first one being the Great British Meetup on June the 13th. And I have a lot of my American friends coming over for that, and I will be playing the role of host to them. And of course, I am one of the principal organisers of the Great British Meetup, so it will require my time. Also on July the 4th, there is another meetup in Kent in England, and I will, although I'm not actually on the organisational team on that, I am confirmed to be going. So that will be a logistical trip in its own right because it is a 4.5 hour journey for myself and Lainey who will be going. So we've had to book a travel lodge, and it will be it's going to be quite a logistical affair. So hopefully somewhere in all that I will set up the limited company. I will start coaching, and it all depends on how many clients I can pick up in the early days as to whether I go back to construction full time and run coaching alongside construction, or whether it becomes apparent that I will not have time to do that and that my coaching career will have to take full time. I will also be planning to develop my YouTube channel. I don't expect to become a YouTube millionaire overnight, that's for sure. It will take some doing. And I've got a lot to learn. I've got to learn Canva, how to make thumbnails, how to edit and everything else. And I can't do that when I'm working 60 hours a week in construction. So again, that will be a project for the summer when I will have a little bit more time off. So coaching, what can you expect from me? Well, I've developed my own pattern, if you like, my own ideas behind it. And one of the ones which some of you may be familiar with are my 4 pillars of carnivore, which are your why, the reason that you are doing it, because I believe you have to have a strong why in order to succeed. Mine was type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity. This is me when I was morbidly obese, when I did have type 2 diabetes. And this is me some 6 years later. The old me was August 2019. The new me was August of 2025. So that is a difference that can be made by the correct lifestyle and the proper human diet, as Ken Berry calls it. So I had a very strong why, plus the fact that I'd lost a very good friend of mine just before I started my journey. He dropped dead at the age of 59. I was 56 at the time, and I realised that I was probably going to be next. And sadly, since then, even on my journey, I've lost several other people to type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and sudden cardiovascular events, myocardial infarctions, in other words, heart attacks. They've just dropped dead. So with each sad passing of those persons, it has reinforced my why as I'm doing it. The second pillar is mindset. We have to change our mindset because we are used to being told what to do. We are used to trusting the educational system and the medical system. We have to start thinking for ourselves, because trusting the education and medical system in the last 50 years has led to a disaster in world health. There is now epidemics of cancer, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, multiple sclerosis, motor neurone disease, and various other illnesses, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, all of which can be either prevented or improved with the use of a proper human diet, which can be carnivore. Ketogenic is very much the start point, because we have to try and get into ketosis, which you will learn about if you decide to study it for yourself, or if you come to myself as a coach or any of the other ketogenic coaches. Third point being research. I cannot do the research for you. We cannot do the research for you. But what we can do is tell you where we did our research and how to actually find it. I did thousands upon thousands of hours of research in the last 4 years since I started this journey. Many more hours than any educational course will deliver. It's been an absolute obsession of mine. Just ask my wife, and it's benefited me to the point where now I've got a pretty good understanding of the science and a very good understanding of the history. In some places, I'm known as the carnivore historian, because I have taken deep dives into why things went wrong, who was responsible for it going wrong, and also the people who fought against the system but were essentially made to shut up, such as Professor John Yudkin and Dr. Richard McCanus, who I've just been studying today, who wrote a book in 1958 called Eat Fat, Grow Slim. So the knowledge was out there, but it got buried by the likes of Ansel Keys, John Harvey Kellogg, but he was earlier, and basically the McGovern report of 1977, which led to the disastrous dietary guidelines. So it is useful to know your history. Lastly, but not least, is community, because when I started, I felt like a very lonely carnivore indeed, and it was hard. Other than YouTube, I didn't have anything to keep me company. Then I discovered in August 2023 the great Larry Allhands, carnivore soldier over in Texas, and then Lauren Tucker in October of 2023. And then I gradually started to gather more and more carnivore friends around me, until such time as I then discovered the Kilts Mighty Tribe, and things have really taken off since then. And having now become part of the USA community, I have literally hundreds of friends around the world, including Australia, including Canada, the USA, the UK, and to a certain extent New Zealand, because Professor Bart Kay does know who I am, even though I can't exactly call him a friend. So yeah, we now have a global village, and it is possible to stay in contact as easily as it is to stay in contact with somebody from the next village here in the UK or the next town here in the UK. So there is no excuse for not gathering community around you. And then recently, following the course that I studied, I decided to make a mission statement for myself personally, and maybe for other coaches as well, with 6 words. The 6 words are to educate, to encourage, to empower, to inspire, to motivate, and to organise. So 6 words. Now, my great friend Barbara over in Ohio, who is known as, her channel is Grandma's Crochet Corner. Grandma is GRAMMAS, then crochet CROCHET, corner spelt with a K, KORNER, all one word. So at Grandma's Crochet Corner, please go and find her channel and subscribe. She makes great AI songs, and she actually did 2 for me, one of which was the 4 pillars of carnivore, which we've just discovered, which we've just discussed, which is your why, your mindset, your research, and your community. But she also put the mission statement to words, and she added a bit to herself. I'll just read it out to you now. So we educate with truth, and we educate, we don't dominate. We encourage through the storm, because it can be quite difficult navigating through all the noise about the healthy grains, or the you must have fruit and vegetables, all the nonsense that is taught to us. And basically, so there is a storm of noise in your head created by people who don't necessarily know the truth. And it's our job to encourage you through that storm and to actually sort out the truth from the noise, the white noise, the lies that are around you. And we encourage, we do not shame. We don't try and shame you into doing anything, because we were all there ourselves. For example, fat shaming. You know, if anybody wanted to, they could easily have fat shamed me. In fact, at school I was, because I was an obese child, and I was constantly teased and bullied and made to feel ashamed of myself. We discourage that heartily. In fact, we work against the shame, because we prove that if anybody who is dedicated, who really wants to do it, can very rapidly change their health, and in the process change their appearance as well. So no shame. We've all been there, basically. We inspire by example. My example is getting rid of type 2 diabetes, to the point where the National Health Service in the UK said that I was the most successful success story that my one individual nurse had ever seen. And also I've lost 120 odd pounds. So again, I have the example. I am the example of what you can do when you put your mind to it. And we inspire through change. So basically, we inspire people to change their way of thinking, to change their attitude towards life, and to believe that they can actually do it. We motivate with love. In the carnivore community, we believe in love, basically. Not the soppy, romantic kind of love, but the love that we should share for mankind, for humanity. Because basically, if people were to love each other globally, then there would not be these stupid wars. There would not be this disaster going round. Dr. Kiltz teaches us to feel love for ourselves, to look in the mirror and feel that we are comfortable with ourselves. In other words, we have that armor of self-love. Now, if you have love within you, then you can radiate love. You can share it with the world. If you are bitter and twisted inside, filled with hatred, then that hatred will come out in you, and it's very difficult to actually want to help and to assist other people. So it is important to actually have this feeling of love for what you are doing, and that way you can actually love other people, love the rest of the world, even though they may not want to be loved, even though they may not want to love you back. But basically, love conquers, hate doesn't. Hate is counterintuitive, and it leads to distress, war, and discord. And then we organise together. Basically, the organisation really goes back to community. It's getting us together, getting us talking amongst each other. My main organisational skill is around the meetups, when I bring people together from all around the world, as it will be this summer. Because I have our American friends coming over to join us in Somerset. I have a great colleague called Carl Day, who is of the Primal Lifestyle. Go and check him out at the Primal Lifestyle. Without him, I couldn't do it, and he is rapidly taken over as the main meetup organizer in this country, on account of the fact that I'm so busy with my diplomatic role as a link between the USA and the UK. So Carl is really taking the responsibility for organising nearly every meetup here in the UK, and he's Mr. Sensible, Captain Sensible, we might call him. He is aware of the value of the financial side of things, and if I get too many ideas that are going to be too costly, he will tell me that I'm wrong, and I don't blame him for that. And also we have the wonderful Lauren Tucker, who is part of the Healing Humanity movement. She will be in the film. And also we have the fantastic Louise Benning, who is South African by birth but lives in the south of England, and is an ambassador to both the Noakes Foundation in South Africa and the Public Health Collaboration here in the UK. And then we have the sisters Stephanie and Nikki Taylor, who are both Kiltz health coaches themselves, and both have fantastic stories of success on carnivore. So we have a very strong committee, which is very good. So that's how we organise. Yeah. So how do we coach? Well, we've had training from Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, and also the wonderful coach Lisa Pickart, who has been coaching for 47 years, so you don't get much more experience than her. She has taught us motivational interviewing, how to carry out motivational interviewing, and also what the ethos behind it is. The most important thing is that as coaches, it is a partnership, a dance between two people, between us and the clients. We are not wrestlers. We are not trying to pin the clients down and tell them what they've jolly well got to do. We actually have to engage with them. And to that end, we have this wonderful acronym, which is PACE, P-A-C-E. We develop a partnership with our client so that it is on equal footing. We are not the boss. We are not telling them what to do. We are moving alongside them in a dance rhythm, not a wrestling rhythm. We're not pinning you down and saying you will do this, otherwise you're wrong. We will say, how do you feel about this idea? How do you feel about that idea? So we elicit, we elicit, we ask how you feel, and then we provide some information, some guidance, and then we elicit again at the end of it. We ask, how does that sound to you? That's how we do it. So it is not like a military bearing as such. It is much more of a nuanced, much more of a dance than a wrestling match. And then we have acceptance. A for acceptance. We accept the fact that not everything that in any partnership, not everything will be agreed upon straight away. So we accept the client's preferences, and the client accepts the fact that we might have a difference of opinion, but we can find the common ground, and we can work on that together. And thirdly, and very importantly, is compassion. You have to care. There's no point in being narcissistic and thinking, yeah, it's all about me, and I'm going to tell my client what to do. You actually have to make sure that you have the client's best interest at heart, not your own ideology. For example, I'm a carnivore, and I believe that carnivore is best, but it might be that the client doesn't want to go full carnivore, and I have plenty of alternatives about how we can actually create a good environment, a healthy environment in which the client can improve health. For I myself went through low carb and keto before going to carnivore, and I achieved incredible results. Carnivore is not the be all and end all. In my view, it is the best solution, but there are other ways through fitness, through low carb, through eliminating ultra processed foods that we can massively improve health anyway. So we'll find a common ground. That's what the acceptance is all about. The compassion is all about. It's about caring for the person that you are dealing with. And finally, evocation. We believe that everybody has it within them to make that change. We are not dragging them through the mud. We are encouraging and evoking their own strength of character. So that's the thing. We are not doing it for you or for them. We are evoking their ability to do it for themselves. I myself have a life coach. I think most of us coaches value the value of a life coach. The person in question I've known for a few years now. I met her through the construction industry where I was working, and then we worked together in the equine industry, the horse racing industry. But she's also got 15 years experience of social work. She is a level 4 support worker and very well trained in dealing with people with mental health problems, drug addiction, that sort of thing. So she really knows how to coach using those 6 points that I've just mentioned. We have a reciprocal arrangement for she acts as my life coach, but equally I act as hers for now that I'm fully qualified with Dr. Kiltz. If she has something she wants to talk about, then she knows she can come to me in confidence and talk about it. And we work things through together. So, yes, as I think my great friend, Coach Juliet Eden says, even coaches need coaches. So it is always a good idea to have a coach. I'm not being hypocritical. I'm not saying, oh, you've got to have a coach, because I have one as well. Which, as I say, it's a reciprocal arrangement. So that is the value of coaching. I find it incredibly valuable. And then, of course, we have our domestic arrangements. I'm married to a wonderful lady called Lainey. And I am lucky because Lainey herself is carnivore. She wasn't at first, But then she discovered the value of the carnivore way in the battle against cancer. It's a long story. It's all about glucose feeding cancer, but it is incredibly helpful to have to share a household with somebody who is also of the like-mindedness, because basically we do not have any carbohydrate products in the house now, very few anyway. There is a box of cupboard for the children for their little treats when they come round, the grandchildren that is, but we're not tempted by it. Now, one of the problems that a lot of people have when they first go carnivore is that they don't take their spouse or their partner with them, and especially not the children. But we have been trained how to teach people to, if not overcome that, then to certainly mitigate the circumstances which might lead them to fall off the wagon. So we have just had that. It's called being a choice architect. So we can help them design their life around their household in such a way as that they are less tempted to fall off the wagon and to raid the children's carbohydrates or chocolate box, for example, which is good. Also, we must, as coaches, we must resist the righting reflex. The righting reflex is part of being a wrestler. You're doing it wrong. You've got to do it my way. That is because we are eager to change things, but change takes time. It really does take time. It took me 18 months to transition from eating all the wrong stuff to becoming carnivore. And in fact, I'm 4 years in now. And only this month I have discovered the benefits of going full Lion diet. By going full Lion, I have stopped itching at night. I've got rid of the eggs. And my gut health is absolutely perfect. And my energy is much higher than it has. This is the last day of January, and I've been Lion since January the 1st. Full disclosure, I did finish off some sausages left over from Christmas or New Year on January the 1st. And on January the 25th, which is Burns Night, I had some haggis. But other than that, I've been more or less perfect Lion in the sense of what I eat versus what I drink, because I still am a coffee addict. So I still do drink a lot of coffee, which is not perfect Lion. But hey, please forgive me. But no, it's been a great. So it shows you that 4 years in, and I'm still learning. And, I still got a few weeks now, maybe a couple of months before I start coaching, during which time I will be improving my own skills, improving my own ability, my own health, and also revising what I've learned from Dr. Kiltz, taking advice from other coaches, and basically being ready to launch. I also have to go through the nightmare of launching a limited company, as we call it here in the UK, or an LLC in the States, or a corporation in Canada. It's going to mean dealing with Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs again, and also going through the rigmarole of setting it all up, getting mission statements and client agreements. But I have some great friends out there who will be able to help me. So that is all part of the rigmarole. Hopefully I'll be up and running by the summer, and I will be available for clients by the summer. I might have to go back to work full time in the construction industry for the meantime, but I will be able to coach around that in the evenings and at weekends. So there's nothing to stop anybody from getting hold of me to be part of my setup. The way I see it is there will be classes, teaching classes, which will be group classes, which will be on Zoom. And also I'm also a qualified English teacher. There is a little interesting sideline possibly, which will be to either teach English as a foreign language, or I've recently got some interest from across the pond, from some literary minded people who would be interested in studying some of the classic English authors with me from the period literature, because the language can be difficult and confusing, and the imagery can be as well. The authors I'm particularly thinking of at the moment, I'm working with one fine young lady over in the States who is reading Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. And we are having I'm not doing this professionally. I'm doing it for her, because I admire her greatly. She has an incredible story. And also I'm doing it for my own interests, because it's been a while since I've studied literature myself. As you can see behind me, I do have an extensive bookshelf, much of which is literary stuff from the old authors. So it's time for me to really get back into that, because I was a straight A English student at school and college, and I kind of let it slip because for the last 4 years, all of my time has been taken up with studying the science and the history of carnival. So that'd be interesting. So what I might do is set up a kind of an English literature class. If I can get enough interest, then we'll have a Zoom call and we will work through the authors together, possibly one book from each author. Thomas Hardy, for example, Jane Austen, who wrote Pride and Prejudice, Daphne du Maurier, who wrote Jamaica Inn, and Charlotte Bronte, most famous for Wuthering Heights. So that is another possibility. And then for the life coaching, the nutritional coaching and mindset coaching, I can do that on a class basis, which will be done on a Zoom call. So we might have a weekly class, for example. I will try and restrict those sessions to 45 minutes, because I believe that 45 minutes is probably the perfect time, as I think Lisa Pickard agrees, because basically half an hour is not enough to achieve anything. But on the other hand, more than 45 minutes, and you do start losing concentration, you do start losing people. So 45 minutes, maybe with a slight overrun for a question and answer, will be, I won't, no, I'm not going to be very, very strict. But it certainly won't be any more than an hour. But 45 minutes will be the allotted time for which I will be charging for my services. And finally, of course, we have tutoring, which is one-to-one. So any client who wishes to actually have me personally for coaching purposes will be able to contact me, and we will have one-to-one calls either by WhatsApp or by Zoom. Again, they will be 45 minutes, and they will be according to the client's needs as to how many they want. I believe that there are two key periods of time in transitioning to the proper human diet from the standard American diet, the SAD diet as it's known, which has been responsible for so much of the autoimmune, so many of the diseases of modern society. I believe it's 28 days, 4 weeks, and 90 days, or 91 days, in fact, which is 3 months, 13 weeks. So people will have the choice. They can stick with me for 28 days, and if they feel ready to go off by themselves, or they can stay for the full 91 days. Possibly, I think it'll be a good idea if we start off fairly intensively. But once we get past the 28-day stage, we might cut down on the number of necessary lessons or tutorials each week, each month. And then I feel that by the time you reach 91 days, then you've passed basic training, as we call it in the British Army, or boot camp, as it's known in America. 3 months, and basically, I think you'll know whether you're going to succeed or fail. And I think that after 91 days, most people will be ready to face the big bad world by themselves. Now, the reason I say this, I have had one coaching success in the past, an excellent lady from Southern California, and I can name her because I'm just about to do a live with her. It is my friend Dawn. She is known on her channel as Life After 60 with Resting Witch Face. I met Dawn in October of 2024 when she was appealing for help from the carnivore community. I took her under my wing, adopted her. She calls me her guru, her sponsor, and she was a great success. After 90 days, she was fully carnivore, and she went on to become a major carnivore influencer in her own right, before branching out, broadening her horizons. Thank you, my own coach, for that particular expression. And yeah, her channel is now about life after 60, about what you can expect after 60, the difficulties with travel insurance, with marriage breakups sometimes, downsizing in houses. Should you maybe go and live with your offspring? Should you have the offspring sharing a house with you? If you've got a big house, is there any scope in renting out a room? All the problems that you get after 60, really. Is it okay to sleep in separate rooms if you're married? Because you have different television preferences. Maybe your spouse snores so much you can't sleep. Dawn says it's okay. She also talks about the problems of getting work after 60. She's had problems herself. And also alternative income streams. Dawn is doing very well, I think, on YouTube because she's got a lot of subscribers, because she's very popular. But she also does things like Uber deliveries, because basically the regular contracted jobs didn't really want to know. So she's having to carve out a life for herself, and she's doing an admirable job of it. So I will be on with her this evening. Sorry, this evening my time, which will be 6:30 p.m. GMT for those of us in the UK. For those of you in California and on the West Coast, it will be 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, PST, and then it will be 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. And if you're on Mountain Standard Time or Central Time, you can work it out in between those two, because I know there are 4 different time zones over in the States. So that's it, really. I think that brings us up to date. 35 minutes this week, not bad. So yeah, the 3 websites I mentioned are at Grandma's Crochet Corner. She is now the Carnival Songstress. Please go and check her channel out. At The Primal Lifestyle, which is Carl Day, my fellow conspirator in the meetups here in the UK. And at Life After 60 with Resting Witchface, which is my friend Dawn over in Southern California, with whom I will be doing a live this evening. And it's going to be great because it's been a long time since I managed to catch up with Dawn, on account of the fact that we are both frantically busy in our various worlds. So it'll be like she calls me her big sister, so it'll be a bit of a sister and brother meet up this evening. I'd love you to come and join us, because it will be great fun and chat as well, because we both believe that in having fun, and there will be lots of giggling and lots of little jokes and that sort of thing. So that's it for this week, and I'm going to say goodbye until next Saturday. Well, not really, because obviously I'll be I'll be on I've nearly forgot. Yeah, I'll be on with Dawn tonight. You'll probably find me on Grandma's Crochet Corner very early my time tomorrow, maybe 7 o'clock in the morning my time. Go back 5 hours, 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Then in the evening, you will find me on Carnival Sunday School with John Laspina and Juliet Edens. Juliet has taken over the role of the school secretary this week, because Stephanie, who I've mentioned earlier as part of the Great British Meetup, has felt obliged to stand down so that she can focus on her own health. She is currently undertaking a 21-day water-only fast in her ongoing battle against cancer. I was able to talk to her yesterday, so she is doing well on the fast, but really feels that she needs to focus on fasting rather than trying to be the school secretary for Carnival Sunday School. Juliet has kindly stepped up, and she calls me Mr. Ambassador. Juliet and I are very good friends because of my ambassadorial role to the United States, and I have given her the title of Madam Secretary because she has taken over the role of school secretary for Carnival Sunday School. Juliet knows nearly all of our viewers because she has been in chat herself on many occasions. So many people who have got YouTube names, handles, if you like, then she knows their names. So it'll be very personal. And good old John, he is the scientific brain behind it all, and it is his brainchild. It is his channel. So he is the headmaster, or principal, as you say over in the States. I, meanwhile, am the much younger, 6 weeks younger than John. I'm the deputy head and also the popular history teacher, who maybe brings a little bit of light-hearted banter to the equation every now and again. And then at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I will be on the paid service called School, which will be on Zoom with Richard Smith, the Keto Pro, who's famous for being a very probably Europe's or the world's top nutritionist, and who was a former European bodybuilding champion and now trains triathletes. And alongside him will be Lauren Tucker, who I've already mentioned. So I will be there. You can go and join that if you wish to go and join the school, but that will be on Zoom, so it won't be on YouTube. And I think that'll probably wrap up my weekend because I'll have to get back to work on Monday. So I better sign off and get ready to go back to work on Monday. It's been great to see you again, guys, and I will see you this time next week.